Hi, I cannot believe that I am filming this video right now. Like, the YouTube Creator Play Button Award did arrive. We did hit 100,000. 100,000? That sounds like such a weird number to me. 100,000 plus subscribers on the KDigitalStudio YouTube channel. YouTube sent me this play button to celebrate such a milestone like this, and I'll include an unboxing of this bad boy so you can see it in its full glory. It still doesn't feel real to me. I'm kind of like zoomed out here so you can see the 100K balloons, my award. I have my mic here so you can hear me better since the camera is far away, but I am going to share the unboxing of the award with you as well as the Q&A. And I feel like every YouTuber says this. They say like, oh, I can't believe it's real. Like, it doesn't feel real. I would be nowhere, wouldn't get this without you guys. And that is 100% true. This would not have been possible without you. Obviously, we need subscribers to subscribe to get the play button, but it means so much more to me than that. I didn't really set a goal of getting 100,000 subscribers when I first started my YouTube channel. I created videos for fun and because I wasn't seeing any digital planning videos. I made digital planning videos and iPad videos back in 2018. iPads weren't as, out there yet. There wasn't as many Procreate tutorials, definitely not TikTok and all these other things going viral and all kinds of stuff like that. So I've been doing KDigitalStudio since 2018. I made the how to make a digital planner tutorial that took off because a lot of people were like, wow, it's really cool. Like, you're using an app that most people delete off their iPad to make this really cool interactive thing that you can use in these note-taking and planning apps. And so that's just kind of how I got started. I really wanted to have a digital version of my paper planner. I got my iPad to take notes as a student in college because I graduated with a chemistry degree, and chemistry involves drawing lots and lots of mechanisms, so I used up a ton of paper. So that's the main reason why I got an iPad. Wanted a digital version of my paper planner because I was like, everything else is already on my iPad, like the only thing left is my planner. So figured out how to make a digital planner, didn't see any tutorials or anything talking about digital planning on the iPad, and that's when I started making those videos. I was using like an old iPhone I had, pushed up my coffee table on my like 300 square feet college apartment up next to the window so I could get some halfway decent lighting, uploaded a video, and somehow now we're here, which is really exciting. So I'm sure you all would love to see the unboxing of this play button. If you haven't seen them before or haven't seen an unboxing of them, I'll include clips of me unboxing this award. I didn't unbox it like with my face in view because I recently got back from my honeymoon. The play button arrived the day I got back from my honeymoon, so I had a long flight. I looked very tired, but I was very excited. So I'll include clips of me unboxing the award, and then we'll jump into the Q&A. I asked on Instagram, I asked in our newsletter, I asked on YouTube about questions you all wanted me to answer in this video, and so that's what we're doing after you check out the unboxing. Alright, so jumping into some questions that you all asked me, I might need to like put the camera closer. Okay, so let's just go through some of these questions here. What is your ultimate goal with your planner shop? And I'm all about goal setting and like setting different goals, and I like to set goals yearly, and I like to think about goals that I want to accomplish 5, 10, 15 years from now. It's I will say it's a little, I will say it's a lot more difficult to set goals for KDigitalStudio that far in the future, just because I feel like with tech and digital planning, things on iPad, e-commerce, a lot of that's just ever changing and evolving like day by day, learning the algorithm, learning how to reach people, trying to find your audience. And so I try not to set goals too far ahead when it comes to things like KDigitalStudio, just because things are changing so much in this space. And so I feel like I don't want to hold myself to a certain path whenever I might need to pivot or go a different direction. As far as goals with my planner shop, I really just want to be able to reach more people, maybe explore different tech, maybe Android users, I can explore a little bit more of that. I obviously want to continue creating digital planners and digital products that are reaching people and serve a very intentional purpose for whatever goals my audience and you all are trying to accomplish. I really value trying to help others and try to help others achieve those goals, and I think that is very possible with digital planners and other digital products. One other goal that I've mentioned briefly here and there is that I would love to explore the idea of developing an app and releasing an app for the App Store. A lot of you loved the Cyber Digital Planners and just the digital products I'm able to create, which is entirely like in a whole different realm from coding and programming, and I don't have a background in that, but I would love to be able to possibly create an app using Swift Playgrounds or the tools that Apple gives developers, and I don't know, it'd be interesting to hopefully develop an app one day, but I'm not sure. So maybe a goal, maybe, just dreaming a little bit, but that's kind of how I would answer that question. So I got quite a number of questions asking this, just kind of worded differently. Some like e-commerce business tips, like digital product business tips, getting started with YouTube, those kinds of questions. And it sounds cliche, but I would say to just get started. I think the more you overthink things, try and decide on your branding, your colors, just things like that, you're going to continue to bog yourself down and kind of like psych yourself out of actually getting started. So with KDigitalStudio, I started creating digital products and digital planners, and I was like, wow, I really like this. Someone else is probably really gonna like this. Let me just create a shop right now. I did it all in one day. I created the digital planner for myself. I stayed up all night. It was a full 24 hours. Like, it was this whole thing, and I really liked it. I used it for like 2 or 3 hours, and I was like, you know what? Someone else is really going to like this. Like, let me see if there's like an audience for it. Because I didn't know anyone really involved in digital planning at the time, and so I was like, let me just see what happens. So I logged on to Etsy. I created the shop that day with the intention of, oh, I'll change the name later. I'll figure out the colors, the branding and stuff later. And in that way, KDigitalStudio really kind of grew up with me as well, because that was back in 2018. It's 2022 now, and so there's been quite a few changes as far as the branding, the voice, the name hasn't changed. Kind of funny. So my husband always calls me Kay, and I was making digital products, so I knew I wanted the name digital in there, and for some reason, studio just kind of stood out to me. I was like, sure, KDigitalStudio, that makes sense. We'll just go with that, and I'll change it later. Wasn't a huge fan of the name at the time because I wanted something kind of cutesy or like punny. I wanted to use a pun somehow, some way, and yeah, so we stuck with KDigitalStudio, but my advice is to really just get started, because you're going to psych yourself out, you're going to bog yourself down with all the details, and the details will come later, and those are important, but what's most important is what you're trying to communicate to your future audience, what problems you're hoping to solve. And so my advice is to just get started. Don't wait until you have all the special equipment you need for starting a YouTube channel. Don't wait until you have X amount of things to start your online shop. Just log on today, set aside 2 hours, and get started. That's my number one tip for all things business and YouTube related. As far as kind of once you're already in it, advice I have is to remain consistent. So one of my biggest regrets is not always being consistent with KDigitalStudio. Started it back in 2018. I was very consistent with YouTube. I think I only missed like 2 or 3 videos out of the year when I was uploading weekly. But one of the things I failed to take advantage of was staying consistent with Instagram. And we all know Instagram is ever changing. They've added Reels. And then with the emergence of TikTok, I wasn't hopping onto those big platforms now and those trends, and that's something that I wish I did in the future, was just to stay consistent, to stay the course. You know, looking in the grand scheme of things, I really did that. Started in 2018 and I kept pushing, and now I'm here, but there were definitely times I could have shown up more, showed my face more, showed what I was doing behind the scenes more, that I'm trying to make a greater point of doing now, which is something that I, wish I did and kept doing earlier on. So if you haven't started yet, just start. And if you've already started, keep going, remain consistent. Somebody asks, do you know any other languages besides English? That's a great question, and the answer is no, unfortunately. I took Spanish. I took several levels of Spanish in middle and high school. Forgot it all, almost all of it, and in college you're required to take languages as well, and I took several languages, like fluency levels of Latin, which people don't necessarily speak. It's kind of a written and reading language, and so I took Latin. And then I lived for 5 to 7-ish weeks in France, and so I took the French language, and I learned enough over there to be able to communicate with people, and I haven't practiced it since, so I've kind of lost that French as well. So I've definitely picked up a few languages when I needed them and dropped them when I haven't practiced with them, but no, I only speak and I'm only fluent in English. Someone asks, will Cyberry 2023 look exactly like the 2022 version? Cyberry is the digital planner that I created for 2022. Cyberry 2023 will look very similar to Cyberry 2022. Of course, there's going to be a few little detail changes, but I think overall it's going to look pretty much the same with just a few changes and making it more streamlined and more intuitive. Someone asks, what app do you use for editing your videos? I use the Final Cut Pro program on my MacBook and my iMac. Someone asks, what's the best and worst parts of your job? Okay, so the best parts of my job are definitely reaching and connecting with others. I've met so many very talented, very inspirational people through what I'm doing, and I've connected with a lot of great people between the different brands and companies that sponsor KDigitalStudio or that support the channel. And if I didn't have KDigitalStudio, if I didn't get up every day and do what I'm doing, there's no way I would have met those people and met you. And so that's truly the best part of my job, and that's what keeps me going, is knowing that I'm connecting with people every single day and that they appreciate what I'm doing and that I appreciate them showing up for me as I'm showing up for them, and the possibility of connecting with other like-minded people in the future as well, doing what I'm doing. The worst part of my job really depends on kind of the season of life that KDigitalStudio is in. So here lately, with the change of the new year, I've been dealing with a lot of customer support messages, and I love to help people. But that's really one of the worst things about the job, is that there's just so many emails, and there's like a gazillion emails, and there's just like me and my husband when I can get him to help. And so it can be rough, and sometimes there's just some people out there that you can give all you can to help them and they won't accept it. And so that's one of the worst things about my job. Another like worst part of the job is just the amount of effort it takes to like figure out all the finances and the taxes whenever you have so many different streams of income. Because as a YouTuber, a content creator, a digital business owner, it's very important to have multiple streams of income, because if one goes down or something unexpected happens like a pandemic, you need to have other streams to fall back on so you can pay your bills and survive. And so with that, it's even more hectic and kind of a headache whenever tax season comes up. That's something I do get help with, but that's just another like kind of headache about the KDigitalStudio thing. But I wouldn't say they're so bad that they make me not want to do work that day or anything like that. Like, I love almost all parts of the job, and the parts that aren't as fun, like they get made up for the fun parts of the job. Some other questions I got. So I got this one question asking, What tasks do you outsource? Editing, buying pre-made templates or things, etc. If you do it all yourself, do you have any advice on how to save time while juggling everything? Thank you so much for all your content and congrats on 100K. Thank you so much. Do I outsource any tasks? I actually don't outsource anything except my finances. I do have an accountant that I work with, and she walks me through all of my finances and does my returns and everything for me. But as far as everything else, that is just me, and occasionally I'll have my husband on board. I've had my husband make 2 or 3 things for the shop. One is a font that's actually his name, and then he's made some Photoshop mock-ups for me, and maybe 1 or 2 other things. And he's definitely helped me like crop stickers and pull them into sticker sheets. But when it comes to actually creating everything for KDigitalStudio, that all comes from me in my head and my fingertips, my iPad, my Apple Pencil. Yeah, I don't outsource anything except the finances. It's kind of a one-woman show over here with the occasional help from my husband. So it's kind of a family affair. As far as advice on how to save time while juggling everything, a lot of that comes with practice. I've definitely gotten faster at creating things and working through. I've like nailed down my processes for making things. And so that definitely speeds things up. Just kind of having a streamlined process of step 1, step 2, step 3, and managing everything that way. Someone asks, did you start your website before or after listing on Etsy and other selling platforms? And do you mind asking if I host, I messed that whole thing up. Do you mind if I ask who hosts your website? I started on Etsy first. Etsy has a built-in audience, a built-in platform of people who are looking to buy things. So I recommend starting in a platform that has a marketplace for you to kind of tap into. So Etsy is a great place to start, and I wouldn't recommend starting with your own website or anything first because you kind of need to put yourself out there before starting your own website. So yeah, website came after Etsy. The purpose of the website was so I could have more control over what I list, who gets it, the resources and freebies that I can provide. And also, once you start selling a ton of stuff on Etsy, you're gonna be hit with killer fees. Like my Etsy fees are always like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. It's ridiculous. And so by selling on my own website, those fees are just like almost non-existent, just payment processing fees. And so yeah, that's why I like having my website. As far as who hosts my website, I went with Squarespace. I did a little bit of research into the different platforms, and I like how with Squarespace you don't necessarily need to know how to code, but if you do, you can really up-level your website. And I just find that the most beautiful websites, like the websites I fell in love with, were built on Squarespace. And that's really the main reason why I went with Squarespace, is just because people are able to make them look so beautiful compared to other websites. And so, yeah, I went with Squarespace, and I started out with a template from another creator called 23and9 Creative. I'll have her linked below. You can buy a template and kind of edit it and brand it yourself. I started out with that, and then I actually took a few like Squarespace coding classes, and I coded a lot of the website after that. So it was nice having that template as a jumping off point, but it was really fun to learn how to code certain features to really make my website stand out. So someone asked, would you ever mind showing us the behind the scenes of creating one of your planners? I'm very intrigued by the process. So glad you're intrigued. Hopefully you're watching this video because that's what this whole channel is about. I have shared behind the scenes of creating my planners. I've actually shared a tutorial like step-by-step of creating my planners. I'll have those videos linked below if you haven't seen them. I also have my How to Make Digital Products course that over 100 students have enrolled and taken in already. And I get down into like the nitty-gritty details. Like that course is my baby. I share everything I know in that course, and I'm constantly adding more to it. So yeah, if you're subscribed to my channel, you should know how to create a digital planner. I have tons of tutorials on it. Okay, so I think I will have this be the last question. This person asks, I'm a teacher. How can I get better organized with my iPad and my planner? This is a great question, and it's one that I get probably every day. And my best advice for you is to continue following along with KDigitalStudio. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. I'm sharing every single day or coming on stories about how to get better organized with your iPad and your digital planner. Everybody is different when it comes to what works for them, and so that's why I'm trying to show up for you every single day to show you what you can accomplish with your iPad, whether that is just being more creative and getting more use out of your iPad, or serving some sort of purpose and getting more productive with the devices you have around you with your digital planner. So hopefully I can continue to answer this question in the past, now, and in the future, but thank you so much for watching. I hope I answered one of your questions. If you have any more, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will try to come back to this video, answer any more questions that you have about the KDigitalStudio YouTube channel or digital planning, iPad creativity in general, best iPads to get, anything you have. Happy to hear it, happy to try and answer and help you along your way. I still can't believe that we hit 100,000 plus subscribers for the YouTube channel. Maybe we'll be able to hit that over on Instagram or TikTok as well. But most importantly, I'm just so excited to have you part of this journey. And thank you for rewarding my efforts for trying to share that with you as well. So any more questions, just leave them in the comments. Thank you so much. And I will see you next week, or maybe not even next week, maybe tomorrow with another video. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, bye.